You guys, so today we're focusing on how to get jacked, but strictly muscle gain, right? How can we actually put on muscle in the gym? What exercises do we need to do? How can we consistently progress over time and then get pretty jacked, right? So the things we're gonna go over today, number one thing is gonna be mind muscle connection, AKA what exercises give you the juiciest pump. You pick those exercises, then making sure your form is good, then going into how can you overload the muscle over time so you get jacked, and then focusing on eating food and recovering, okay? Those are 5 topics we'll be talking about. Number one thing, mind muscle connection, exercise selection, right? So I know there's lots of studies out there that pump is not an indicator of growth, things like that. But I'm a big believer, like if a exercise doesn't feel good for you, like you don't feel the muscle, maybe your form's not the best or whatever, but if you don't feel it, it's probably not gonna give you the best stimulus to gain muscle, which is our focus point today, right? So first thing is list out exercises that you actually feel good, right? If a movement feels good for you, put that shit on the list for each body part. Once you have that list ready, second thing I want you to do is out of those movements, see which movements can you load the heaviest for each body part. Just an example, like for chest, I can load incline dumbbell press, a barbell press, quite a bit. Second thing I wanna pick is exercises that shape the muscle or you get the nicest squeeze on, if that makes sense. So something for like chest, for example, like a cable fly, right? You can shape the muscle, you can get a nice squeeze in it. Third thing I want you to do is pick a movement that you can get the nicest stretch on. So like a machine fly for a chest, right? So for chest training, I would maybe pick like an incline dumbbell press, a cable fly, and then a machine fly, right? So I get something that's heavy, something that nice squeezes the muscle, and then some that stretches the muscle. You can do the same thing for legs, right? For example, something you can load heavy is a hack squat, right? And then you can pick something like a leg extension that squeezes the muscle, gives that shape, and then something that stretches maybe can be like a split squat or a lunge. So pick those exercises that feel good for you, nothing hurts, and your body is getting a nice juicy pump, okay? Now the second thing we're focusing on is execution. And this could be interrelated. Like first thing you can focus on execution, second thing mind muscle, but it goes hand in hand, right? If your form is not good for these exercises, there's no point. So what I would do, after you pick those exercises, give yourself like 4 to 12 weeks of just practicing the movements. Don't even think about progress on them, loading weight, all that stuff. Just get good at these movements. Execution is gonna be the primary thing that gives your muscle the stimulus so you get pretty jacked, okay? So choose good exercises and then make sure your execution is good. Third thing we talk about is how can you make progress on these exercises, right? So this one we get wrong all the time. It's like, I just have to load it heavier, bro. Just more weight, more weight. But there's so many different ways of making progress, right? Like you can add more reps to a movement, right? Don't just go for 5 to 6 reps. You can do 6 to 30 reps. The science shows you can make progress with those many reps, right? So every single exercise, give it a rep range. Like the previous example we mentioned, incline dumbbell press, you can give it like a 6 to 12 rep range. Once you hit that 12 rep range mark, you up the weight, which might take you like 3-4 weeks. And the second thing you can do is maybe the cable fly and the machine fly, you can make the rep range 12 to 20. When you hit that 20 rep mark, you can up the weight. So that way you make progress for a long time, right? Second thing you can do is add more sets. Like Dr. Mike Israetel, he's one of the biggest bodybuilding guys out there. And his thing is you just add a couple sets every single week until you hit your max recoverable volume where you feel fried, then you take a deload. So you can add sets, adds progress as well, right? Third thing could be tempo. So you're controlling the movement better. You're not just doing no speedy Brampton shit, right? So you're controlling the movement, you're executing nice, slow negatives, pause reps. That's also progression. And the last thing, now you can add some weight, right? So slowly add some weight over time, make incremental progress, and it's gonna compound into some nice, juicy biceps, chest, whatever you want, right? So that's the third thing, is making sure you're progressing. Now the last 2 things, surplus and recovery, they go in hand. You gotta eat enough food to recover from your workouts. You gotta sleep enough to recover, right? So food and recovery, food and sleep are so underrated in terms of we all know we're supposed to be doing them, but they're gonna primarily be the things that drive the gains here. Because when you're in the gym, you're physically exhausting your muscle, you're actually in a state where you're not actually gaining muscle. You're in a stress state, right? The gains come from the recovery aspect, which comes through sleep and a surplus, right? So the nutrition stuff and the sleep stuff we'll cover in detail in other videos, but for sleep, aim for 7 to 8 hours, please. Have a good sleep routine. Like what I like doing personally is 30, 40 minutes before shutting off, turning my phone off, making sure the room is quiet, dark, and then get nice sleep. Sometimes even read a little bit, do a little bit of gratitude and stuff like that. Or, you know, talk to someone, talk to your girl, whatever, talk to your mom, dad. Just nice and relaxed, shut off, right? And for eating, I love tracking my macros still. I think we get it wrong. We're not as consistent in tracking when we're bulking versus cutting. That's why most of us kind of get fat, right? So make sure you're still tracking, consistently eating enough calories, tracking your progress, because that's what's gonna make sure you're actually making progress, right? We'll cover proper bulking, proper cutting in other videos, but if you're doing these 5 things, you should get pretty jacked. So quick summary right away. Choose exercises that feel good for you. Make sure you perform those exercises well, and then making sure you're progressing over time in all those exercises through different things, reps, sets, weight, load, that kind of stuff. And then making sure you're eating enough and sleeping enough. And if you do that for long enough, you should get pretty juicy. So guys, I know this was a longer video, but hope this helped. Any questions, anything you guys want to ask, please ask below. And if this helped you out, please do share it. I know I don't usually ask that, but share it. It might help your mom, dad, sister, dog, whoever, right? But get everybody jacked, right? That's the mission here. So hope this helped, and see you guys next time.